Many years ago, in the community of Bende, there lived an old woman named Mamadi who lived alone in a small house. Mamadi moved in a couple of months ago and no one knew where she had come from as she never spoke about her past. She looked frail with deep wrinkles on her face. Her grey hair was always covered with a scarf and her deliberately slow movements made her seem older than she probably was. The villagers had taken pity on her when she arrived months ago. They built her the small house and often brought her food and other necessities. She had no husband, no children, at least none that anyone had ever seen, and no relatives who came to visit. Life in Bende was quiet and people rarely questioned things that didn't directly affect them. So, apart from showing Mamadi kindness and compassion, no one bothered to ask about her life. One day, Mamadi went to the market with unexpected news. "I have found a way to take care of myself," she announced, smiling at the women gathered around the fish seller's stall. The women paused and curiously asked her what it was. "I've got a contract with a company in the city," Mamadi continued. "They recycle old clothes to make pillows, socks, and other things. If I bring them old clothes, they will pay me." The women were surprised and pleased at the news. "That is good, Mamadi," one of them said. "We have always worried about you. It is good that you finally found something to do." Mamadi smiled and replied, "I will need your help though. If you have old clothes, anything you are not using, please give them to me. It will help me a lot." "Of course, Mamadi, we will bring some clothes for you tomorrow." And so, word spread quickly, and soon the entire community was helping Mamadi. Every week, she would visit each house with her wheelbarrow, collecting bundles of old clothes. The villagers were more than willing to help. After all, it felt good to support an old woman who always seemed so helpless. "I don't even wear half of these things anymore," said one woman as she handed over a bundle of faded clothes to Mamadi. "It is better you make use of them than letting them gather dust here." Mamadi smiled. "Thank you, my daughter. May your generosity be rewarded." One day, Joy, a young woman who had grown up in Bende but now lived in the city, returned to visit her mother. As they sat in front of the house, sipping palm wine and catching up, Joy noticed Mamadi approaching with her wheelbarrow. "Good afternoon, Mama," Joy greeted politely. Mamadi smiled. "Good afternoon, my daughter. I have come to collect old clothes from your mother." Joy watched quietly as her mother handed over a small bundle of worn-out wrappers and shirts. Joy studied Mamadi's face for a long moment, trying to place it. When Mamadi left, Joy asked her mother, "Mama, who is she?" "That is Mamadi," her mother explained. "She is a widow who lives alone. We have been helping her for some time, but now she collects old clothes for a company that recycles them." Joy's heart skipped a beat. "Old clothes? That's her business?" Her mother nodded. Joy frowned. "She looks familiar though. I think I have seen her before in Benin City. She used to collect clothes there too." Her mother waved a hand dismissively. "Really? Maybe it's just her look-alike. Mamadi is just an old woman trying to survive." It didn't take long before the people of Bende began to notice strange occurrences. Their businesses that had been thriving suddenly started recording losses. Their yams spoiled overnight, and some of them lost several of their business clients. One man even complained of misplacing a significant sum of money and couldn't explain how it happened, something that had never happened to him before. "It's like bad luck is following me," one of the women lamented one afternoon at the market. Another woman sighed sadly. You are not the only one. Oh. I don't know what is happening, but everything seems to be going wrong lately. Joy, who had stayed in the village longer than planned, soon noticed the pattern of misfortune. One afternoon, her mother returned from the market looking troubled. Mama, you have been quiet since you got back. What is wrong? Joy asked. Her mother sighed deeply. Joy, I don't even know where to begin. Nothing is working anymore. My little farm is not yielding as it used to. I keep losing things, especially money. And I'm not the only one. No. Almost everyone in the village is complaining. Joy frowned and asked, what do you mean everyone? What is happening? My daughter, if you ask me, who will I ask? Chika says her yams are rotten before harvest. Nneka can't find the money she kept for her daughter's school fees. Even Ada the tailor said she hasn't been getting customers like before. It is as if bad luck is everywhere. Joy thought for a moment. Has anyone tried to figure out what is going on? Could it be spiritual? Her mother shook her head. We don't know. Everyone just assumes it is bad times, but it feels strange though. As they spoke, a familiar figure approached the compound. It was Mama D, pushing her wheelbarrow as usual, ready to collect old clothes. Good afternoon, Mama Joy, Mama D greeted with a warm smile. Good afternoon, Mama D. Joy sat quietly, observing Mama D's every move. The old woman's attitude was calm, but there was something disturbing that Joy couldn't ignore. Maybe it was because of the coincidence of having known her in Benin City for this same business. Thank you, my daughter, Mama D said to Mama Joy as she placed the clothes in her wheelbarrow. As Mama D left, Joy turned to her mother. Mama, how often does she come here to collect clothes? Every week. We all give her what we can. She says she's on a weekly contract with the recycling company in the city. That night, Joy laid awake thinking about everything her mother had said. The missing money, the setbacks, the strange aura that seemed to hang over the village. And then there was Mama D, who was always collecting clothes. An idea struck her. She decided to monitor Mama D closely, at least to quench her suspicions about the old woman. The next morning, Joy began her secret investigation. She followed Mama D as she made her usual rounds, watching as the old woman collected clothes from different households. She noticed that Mama D never left the village during the day. Instead, she would take the clothes back to her house and disappear inside for hours. Joy's curiosity grew. Why wasn't Mama D delivering the clothes to the city as she claimed? One evening, Joy decided to follow Mama D after she left her house with a large sack of clothes. She stayed at a safe distance, hiding behind trees and bushes as the old woman went towards the outskirts of the village. After about an hour of walking, Mama D entered a dense forest. Joy hesitated for a moment, but her curiosity pushed her forward. She watched from behind a tree as Mama D stopped in a small clearing. The old woman carefully unpacked the clothes and arranged them in a pile. Then, to Joy's shock, she pulled out a small container of kerosene and poured it over the clothes. Mama D struck a matchstick and set the pile of clothes on fire. The flames burned widely, casting shadows on her face as she began to chant in a low voice. Joy's heart pounded as she strained to hear the words. She couldn't make out everything, but the tone was obviously sinister. When the fire had burned the clothes to ashes, Mama D scooped the ashes into a clay pot and covered it with a lid. Joy froze. This wasn't recycling. The next morning, Joy informed her mother, Mama, I followed Mama D yesterday. Her mother looked up, followed her. Why? I wanted to know where she takes the clothes. Mama, she's not recycling them, oh. She's burning them in the forests. Her mother was shocked. Burning them? Why would she do that? I don't know, but it is not normal. And she was chanting something while the clothes burned. Mama, this is spiritual, oh. Her mother frowned. Are you sure about this, Joy? Yes, Mama. I need to find out more about her. I am going to go to Benin City to ask questions. Joy traveled to Benin City the following week, determined to uncover the truth about Mama D. She visited the neighborhood where she remembered seeing the old woman years ago. The stories she heard were scary. That woman destroyed this place, said a middle-aged man named Osaro. She was always collecting clothes and people thought they were helping her. But after she left, everything fell apart. Businesses collapsed. People lost their savings and some even fell sick. Another woman added, we didn't know what was happening until someone told us she was using our clothes for rituals. By then, it was too late. She vanished before we could confront her. Joy's blood ran cold. Everything matched what was happening in Bende at the moment. After gathering enough evidence, Joy returned to Bende in the company of two young men from the community. When they arrived at Bende, Joy led them to the bush where she had seen Mama D. I saw her burn the clothes here. There is something evil going on here. We need to catch her in the act and make her confess. The two men nodded furiously. If she's up to no good, we will make sure the entire village knows. Let's just hope we are not too late. They reached the clearing where Mama D had been performing her strange rituals. Fortunately for them, the old woman was there, standing by a burning pile of clothes. Her lips were moving silently as she chanted. A small clay pot was beside her, filled with the ashes she had been collecting. As soon as Mama D spotted them, she froze, her eyes widened in shock. But she quickly feigned confusion. Joy, what are you doing here? Mama D, we need to know what you have been doing with our clothes, Joy said. Stop pretending. Tell us the truth. Mama D frowned. What truth? I have told you already. I sell those clothes to a recycling company in the city. No, sir, one of the men laughed harshly. Recycling company? You are burning the clothes right here in the forest. What company is paying you for ashes, Mama D? Mama D's face darkened. You have no right to accuse me like this. I am just an old woman trying to survive. Nosa crossed his arms. Then why are the people in the village suffering? Why are their businesses failing and their money disappearing? What did you do to them, Mama D? By now, the commotion has drawn the attention of other villagers. One by one, they began to arrive, curious to know what was happening. What is going on here? Why are these strangers accusing Mama D? One of the villagers asked. Joy turned to the crowd. Mama D has been lying to us. She's not selling the clothes to a recycling company. She's burning them and using the ashes for something sinister. That is why we are all suffering. The villagers were shocked. Mama D, is this true? Someone asked. I don't know what she's talking about, Mama D shouted. These are lies, all lies. But her protests were drowned out by the angry murmurs of the crowd. You have been collecting our clothes for months, one woman said. If this is true, then that means you have been stealing our destinies, Mama D. Seeing that Mama D was not willing to admit her evil, two fierce-looking young men stepped forward and held up sticks to threaten her. Enough with the lies. Tell the truth or we will make you talk. Mama D trembled in fear. She fell to her knees and began to cry. Please don't hurt me. I'll tell you everything. The crowd became silent and fixed their eyes on the old woman. I have been doing this for years, Mama D confessed. I have 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter. They are all living abroad, living good lives. I needed money to send them there, but I didn't have any money, so I turned to other means. What means? Joy asked sharply. Mama D hesitated. I would burn the clothes and collect the ashes. Then I would take them to my altar and use them to invoke the destinies of the people who gave the clothes to me. Their fortunes and their blessings all went to my children. The villagers stumbled back in fear, with their mouths opened wide in shock. You stole our destinies, a man shouted, filled with rage. That is why we have been suffering, another woman cried. You cursed us, Mama D. You wicked woman, one man shouted, raising up a stick. You deserve to be beaten to death. Stop, Joy yelled. We need solutions, not violence. Let us search her house first. The men agreed, and they dragged the scared Mama D back to her small house at the edge of the village. Inside, the house was dark and cluttered. The men began tearing through the piles of old clothes, pots and bags that filled the tiny space. Look at this, one of the youths called. They saw a small carved figure surrounded by black beads and stained clothes. They uncovered more items, a mirror with red stains, clay pots filled with ashes, and bundles of hair tied with strings. This is an altar, an old man said. She has been using all of this to steal from us. Mama D screamed and tried to run forward. Don't touch it, please. You don't know what you are doing. But the villagers ignored her. They gathered all the items and piled them outside. Joy shook her head at the fetish items. We must destroy them, every single thing. One young woman stepped forward immediately. Let me start. She lifted her skirt and urinated on the pile of items. As soon as the urine touched the objects, Mama D let out a horrifying scream. No, you have ruined everything, she shouted, holding her chest. The villagers watched in shock as Mama D began to convulse on the ground. I told you not to touch it, she cried. Now see what you've done. Her voice trailed off and she collapsed lifeless. The crowd were speechless and terrified by what they had witnessed. What do we do with her body? One man asked after a long silence. She doesn't deserve a proper burial, a young man said. Let us take her to the forest. And so they carried Mama D's body to the outskirts of the forest and buried her in a shallow grave. Afterwards, the villagers went for deliverance and cleansing from the local pastors and traditional healers, and slowly their fortunes began to change. Their businesses recovered, money stopped disappearing, and progress returned to their village. The experience with Mama D was an unforgettable one for them, and they swore to never give away their clothes to anyone without knowing their true intentions. Thank you for watching the story. What do you think about the story? Have you experienced something like this before? As we celebrate the festive season, sharing love and gifts, let us remember to be prayerful and walk according to the leading of the Holy Spirit. Always pray over anything you intend to give out, so that your kind hearts will not be used against you. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share the story out with your loved ones, give the story a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye!